1006.
I'm sorry, that was not a valid account number or shareholder reference number. Your number is 11 digits long. Please re-enter your number now.
1006 5957 393.
Thanks. For the account you are calling about, saying just the letters and numbers. For example, EQ012IS. Please say the postcode now.
EC2Y8DL.
Thanks. Please say your surname.
Makar.
Thanks. And how do you spell your surname?
MAKAR.
Thanks. Your current share balance of Triad Group plc ordinary shares at 1p each is 3,951,452, with an indicative share price of 135.00 pence, giving an indicative value of £5,334,460.20. To listen to the information again, please press 1. Otherwise, press 2 to continue. Thanks. If you wish to purchase or sell your shares, please press 1. For any questions about changing your personal details or a query regarding your dividends, please press 2. For any other query regarding your shareholding, please press 3. Calls may be recorded for security and quality. Please hold while we connect you to an advisor. We'd love to get some feedback from you today on your experiences through a short automated survey after your call. If you'd be happy to take part, please stay on the line at the end of your call.
Good morning, it's Equiniti. How may I help you today?
To whom am I speaking, please?
My name is Sarah.
Zara or Sarah?
Sarah.
Sarah. Good morning, Sarah. Do you have a...
Morning.
Good morning to you. Are you in the Birmingham registry?
We are in the call centre in Birmingham. Yes, that's correct.
Brilliant. What's your surname, please?
My surname is Masood. M-A-S-O-U-D.
M-A-S-O-U-D. Very good morning to you. Is it Miss Masood? Is it Miss Masood or Mrs.?
My name is Sarah Masood.
Yeah. Is it Miss Masood or Mrs. Masood? How would you like me to address you?
That's correct, yes. Miss Masood is fine.
Miss Masood.
That's fine.
Okay. Do you know a young lady called Nouri Bagan in the Birmingham registry?
No, unfortunately. Is there anything that I can assist you with in regards to the accounts that you've located?
Well, you might be able to. Do you know the young lady?
No, I don't, unfortunately.
But you are in Birmingham?
We are, yes.
Okay. It relates, it's not an account, it's my shareholder reference. Are you aware that Equiniti, are you familiar with the computer Sirius?
That's correct. We use it on a daily basis. So how can I assist you, please?
Right. Equiniti has got a shareholder reference number which relates to Equiniti for the use of Sirius. It does not form part of the the register of the company. It's just your computer reference number. And unfortunately, your computers were hacked in respect of your records, in respect of my shareholding.
Right, okay. What made you say that they were hacked? How would you know that they were hacked?
Because you wrote and told me.
Okay.
And your letter was dated the 7th of October 2020. And at the beginning of this year, Nouri Began had told me she was going to phone me the following day to tell me that she had corrected the effect of that hacking. And she also told me that the hacking had in fact taken place on the 10th of September 2020. And normally when your computers are hacked, the computer automatically generates a fraud prevention letter. When you say do you understand? Is it something you're familiar with? The fraud prevention letters that get...
Nothing that in terms of refers something similar that we deal with, but I am aware of a fraud prevention letter, yes.
Right. Are you aware that it's generated automatically by the computer?
In terms of any sort of changes, yes.
Very good. And the person who had hacked into the computer had disabled the automatic generation of that letter. But the hacking had in fact... so the hacking had in fact taken place on the 10th of September 2020.
Right, okay.
That was the information that she reported to me. But they'd also stopped the fraud prevention mechanism letter, correct.
Right.
And they did not dispatch it until the 7th of October 2020. So it came out late.
Later on.
Okay. And that was extremely serious because...
Of course, yeah.
In between the 10th of September 2020 and the 7th of October 2020, my company, my investee company, had its annual general meeting on the 24th of September 2020.
Okay.
And the result of having hacked on the 10th of September 2020, but not issuing the fraud report, was that it invalidated the AGM on the 24th of September 2020. So it was a very serious hack.
Right, okay.
Okay, so hang
who
on.
was meant to give you a call about this? Was this someone called Nouri Began?
Nouri Began. I think her name was is spelled Noorie Begum. I think.
Okay.
And she was phoning me the following day. Now, the hack that was reported to me was that the head of fraud and crime, Simon Wadey, who is one of the control functions in your organisation, he's the top man in fraud and crime. He had put he had put a financial crime designation 178 stroke 11 onto the register of this company on the 10th of June 2011.
Right, okay.
Now, if I don't know how long you've worked in the registrar for. Are you familiar with the work of a registrar?
I am, yes. However, with the way the financial crime department, how they work is slightly different in regard to the systems that we use. But with the fraud, with the reference number you're quoting to me, they do sound familiar, yes.
Okay.
They can put restriction on the account.
Fine. But how long have you worked in registrar services? Do you understand how the company's register works? So do you understand what it means?
In terms of my role, I fully understand that. So in regards to your query...
No, I haven't made a query. I'm just asking you the question. What I'm trying to say is, when you put a crime prevention designation, you're not just putting it in respect of one member. You have to put it in respect of the whole company. And that is because it is one register. It is the register.
Right, okay.
Okay. Now the reason.
I was not aware of. I was not aware of that.
That's why I was telling you. That's why I was telling you because what you're in practice doing is that you're putting it on just one member's record. Yes, and that comes, and this is why I always have to work out backwards, because my company is an IT company, so I think about it in IT terms. But because it is one register in respect of one company and its members, you cannot put it on the shareholder reference on a computer for one member without putting it on the register for everybody. It's on the entire register. And that's why I'm labouring the point, because that's why it's so significant that this happened on the 10th of September 2020, and the computer was stopped by the hacker from issuing the crime prevention, so the entire membership and the officers didn't know, so we went storming into our AGM on the 24th of September, not knowing that in point of fact what had happened, and the register had been altered. And when you alter the register, of course you alter it for everybody. And the second thing that the hackers are doing are creating a third party, a correspondent, and Equiniti is entering correspondence with a correspondent of Equiniti. So there's letter writing going on between third parties and Equiniti. And they're actually hiding all the correspondence between Equiniti and their correspondent inside the register, but hidden under one poor member's shareholder reference number. It's really weird.
Right, okay. So are you can I just have a look at your account, because I can see that you have actually inputted a shareholder reference number for me. Do you want to just confirm to me, are you the shareholder on this account?
I am the shareholder on this account, but I'm also the representative of the members. And I am the main point of contact for Equiniti in respect of this company and the joint principal shareholder.
Yeah.
Myself and the other principal shareholder, we own 60% of the equity.
Right. Okay. Let's have a look at your account for you because.
Well, at the moment, the issue that you face is that for the hacker to be able to hack into the system, the first thing they had to do was to remove the 17811 refer all transactions to financial crime in order to be able to hack. And this happened, and the reason I know how it happened in so much detail is that it happened before, on the 14th of December 2016, because you cannot hack into the system unless you remove the financial crime designation. The hacker is then going into the system and they are entering a correspondent plus a correspondence address into the part of the system which is called a correspondence address box, and then they are reapplying the financial crime designation, but then instead of protecting the company and its members, it is protecting the third party correspondent, whose name is now hidden, heavily hidden in the correspondence address box, plus an address, and that address is just a business address. It's not even the registered office address of the correspondent. So they can't even be sued.
Do you know what that address is?
I've been told by Equiniti's crime teams what happened on the first occasion, and I've also been told what's happened on the second occasion. This is the second occasion, and they have used the correspondent is FRP Advisory LLP, and that is a platform which is in liquidation in the course of being struck off in Companies House. It is a criminal organization which was behind the hacking in 2016, and it is the occupier of my address for service of documents, 333 Cromwell Tower in the Barbican, London EC2Y8DL. I sued this organization in February 2014, 2012, folio 336, Mira Makar, that is me, 333 Cromwell Tower, Barbican, London EC2Y 3NB. In the Barbican, I sued FRP Advisory LLP under reference 2012 folio 336 at their registered office address. And they are the people who've burgled and are controlling my flat 333 Cromwell Tower. They're defendants, but they're not defending. That's who they are. And these criminals are currently in the advanced stages of being liquidated. And you can tell it's very criminal because the person who hacked into the system and did all of this wickedness, both the first time and the second time, had to remove the financial crime designation in order to do it. And
Right, okay.
And you can tell also that it's criminal because they hire lawyers who then threaten Equiniti, and they make up some cock and bull story about the particular member, but they do not, in their letters, state the name of the company itself. And then when Equiniti enters into correspondence with them,
Yeah.
it implicates Equiniti because when they've written in, they've tried to make out there's something wrong with the member. Either they're dead or they're a bankrupt or something which is particular to the member. And by that means, they persuade them to alter the register, which of course affects all of the members. And what it then means is that Equiniti has taken control over the company because there's no public company announcements about what's happened. That particular member doesn't get notices anymore of an AGM, of the report and accounts, because it's all gone God knows where. And when one member doesn't receive notice, the AGM is then not valid. It's exactly the same as everybody not receiving notice. And so what you...
Right, okay.
So do you understand that Equiniti takes control because it is Equiniti who has made the entry into the register, but it's done it using Equiniti's system and Equiniti's shareholder reference number and Equiniti's computer in respect of Equiniti's correspondence with Equiniti's correspondent to a business address of the correspondent. Can you see that all that belongs to Equiniti and does not really belong to either the company or its members? So this all arises because you have a shareholder reference number. And that is actually Equiniti's shareholder reference number. If we moved to Capita or took the register in-house, that shareholder reference number that you checked up on me on, that stays with you. So in so when we
to this account, before we do go any further,
it's not an account.
The information.
Please, Miss Masood.
The information you're advising me on.
No, I'm not, Miss Masood. I'm not advising you. I am just making sure.
Informing.
No, I'm just making sure that you, in order to save my heart, because I have been caught up, because in that AGM, because the results were forged and the voting was forged by Equiniti, I have ended up being ambushed and kidnapped and locked up 23 by 24 in a high secure prison. I cannot cope with this behavior anymore, And anybody who's dealing with these recorded calls knows that they are governed by the Official Secrets Act. There is a police crime number, and these issues have been taken up by your bank with you because my dividends have been stolen. So please let us go very slowly. The reason for the call today is to put on the record, on a recorded call, that Nouri Began has not come back to me yet.
Any contact. Right.
And I have since communicated, we've communicated in writing with Equiniti, and there is everything is open, but that FRP Advisory LLP, which is a platform in liquidation now in Companies House, was going to be removed. And the business address of your correspondent, which is a liquidated platform, was going to be removed. And the longer you carry on procrastinating, because the dividends which are owed to me now are £382,000, and we are heading towards Triad Group PLC's financial year end 31 March 2022. This is not resolved, and Equiniti Group PLC's accounts for 31 December 2021 cannot be signed off at all, ever, by PricewaterhouseCoopers unless and until this issue is resolved and no harm is caused to Triad Group PLC and their accounts, the run-up to which we are now in, 31 March 2022. Triad Group PLC cannot get its accounts right unless you fix your accounts for 31 December 2021. There is a recorded call with your call center, which is public, which is for the 18th of September 2020. On there, I ask to be told by close of business, 6 o'clock on the 18th of September 2020, from Simon Wadey, who your insurance company is. Because there was a claim of £2 billion per annum each year from 1987 that they needed to know about so that they do not fall foul of it. It was important that he did that because Equiniti was warned on the 7th of November 2014 that FRP Advisory LLP and a man called Paul Atkinson, who was the son of Dorothy French, who was the cousin of Jeremy French, the principal owner of FRP Advisory LLP. Their birth certificates are on my website, www.inthepublicdomain.net. They had been given a stolen share certificate of mine for £3.25 million, which had been given to Boodle Hatfield and then to them. And they were going to come and try and turn that into cash. Of course, you can't turn a stolen share certificate into cash. And therefore,
you can't.
That was under Folio 336. And as you know, I am indemnified by Equiniti so long as I report to them lost and stolen. I'm indemnified.
Right.
And what they have to do is to make sure that they've put the financial crime designation on there. And so that, and they were told this is 2012 Folio 336. So I've already sued these thieves. So don't worry about it. But what it then means is that when the certificate comes in, you already know what it is, and it came in, it was handed in on the 7th of April 2017, and you have an image for the handing in of that certificate.
Right.
Can you hold on 1 minute? Hello?
Hi, it's Waitrose.
Sorry?
It's Waitrose.
Oh, thank you very much. Could you please come to the
Thank you. Bye bye.
I beg your pardon, Miss Masood.
Okay.
So you've got images of what was handed in on the 7th of April 2017. It was my real share certificate which had been stolen, plus an old share transfer form which you'd already seen a copy of it years ago. I had given that to the Royal Bank of Canada because I'd wanted them to do a bed and breakfast transaction so I can get a tax loss. So it was an old document,
Right, okay.
yeah? And you've got image numbers of those. But as far as the actual certificate is concerned, as you can see, because I'd reported it stolen and who the thieves were, they may as well have given you a recipe for chocolate cake. They can't actually do anything with it because you recognize it as being my stolen certificate. And it was issued by Lloyd's TSB registrars on the 25th of October 2005 before our AGM on the 31st of October 2005, when you were still Lloyd's TSB registrars. I'd handed in two certificates which were cancelled, and we had 48 shares issued to 48 different people so that they could come to the AGM and be heard. One of them was Sir Guy Newey, who's now in the Court of Appeal, who is a barrister, so that he was able to be heard at the AGM. And that's when I got my share certificate for the remaining shares that I held. And that's the one that was then handed back in. So I'm indemnified by Equiniti from the 7th of November 2014. Now, Equiniti is in an awkward situation because if various people sue Equiniti and say, we're in a bad position, etc., but you contributed to the damages, Equiniti needs to be it's called contributory damages. So Equiniti faces claims for contributory damages because Equiniti's done some bad things. In the court, they said they took me off Twitter in 2018 at Mira McCarr. So they've done some bad things and the various insurance companies have been prejudiced. So Equiniti can then face a counterclaim. It's called Part 20 contributory damages. Equiniti then has to be able to protect itself. And it can protect itself if, when I told it on the 7th of November 2014, it told its insurance company. And I don't think it did. So it then has 6 years under the statute of limitation. So that is until the 6th of November 2020, 6 years from 2014, to do its own claim or join me and join Triad, align itself with us, or to tell its insurance company, and the insurance company then takes conduct and takes over, and everybody's protected by aligning itself with Triad and with me. But Equiniti didn't do it. And we've got the recorded call, as I told you, which is public. I had to make it public so that people can protect themselves and make their own insurance notifications. I made it public at about 5 o'clock on the 22nd of September 2020, and that recording was heard in the courts on the 13th of October 2020. So the whole world knows that Equiniti was warned.
Right, okay.
But unfortunately, you didn't issue your fraud letter until the 7th of October, after that AGM and before the hearing of the insurance warning, which happened on the 13th of October. So you issued your crime alert letter on the 7th of October, but didn't make any corrections. And so...
Right, okay. Everything that you're saying to me at the moment, it's not something that I actually personally deal with.
No. What we're doing is... No, hang on. I don't want to know what you're going to do, because at the moment we're putting it on the recording so that your company knows. Okay. So then, can I just...
What I'm going to do is I'm going to get you... what I can do for you so that, of course, you're speaking to the correct department, because on this line... in regards to the call center, we only deal with shares. With everything you're telling me, which is done, I'm not too familiar with all.
It doesn't make any difference, Miss Masood. Miss Masood, you don't need to do anything because your teams are listening to this call. So I'm just putting the significance of the dates here. So as you can see...
Do you want me to get you a call? So do do you want me to get you a call back from them so at least they know and can answer to whatever you're kind of saying? So respond.
We'll agree what we're going to do.
Myself, I don't understand that.
Okay, you don't need to, because all we're going to do is record 6 years.
Yeah.
Right. If you just have a pencil and paper, 6 years from 7 November 14 goes up until the 6th of November 2020. Okay? And that's the statute of limitation. So if Equiniti wants to go into court or be represented in court...
So do you just... So is this call just for me to listen to all these dates? So you just want me to listen to you, is that correct?
Yes, and just say, yes, I can see that 14 plus 6 makes 20.
Unfortunately, as I mentioned, I won't be able to confirm any dates to you as to what I can see because I'm not
asking you to see anything. I'm just asking you to say 14 plus 6.
Unfortunately, I will not be able to confirm anything, but I'm here to listen to you.
Okay. Right. 7th of November 2014 plus 6 years is 7th of November 2020. So 6 years ends on the 6th of November 2020. Okay? From that position, from that date, Equiniti is statute barred from going into court to protect itself because it's out of time for 6 years. It's statute of limitation. That means if anybody does a claim against Equiniti, it is out of time to protect itself. And people sometimes do what's called a contributory damages claim. So if they're facing a whopping great claim, they say, okay, hands up, it was me, but I am now going to claim contributory damages from Equiniti. It's called Part 20 contributory damages. Equiniti can't do anything to fight the Part 20 contributory damages because it is statute barred. That is the point. Point 1. Point 2, the recorded call was recorded with you and is public at about 4:15 on Friday the 18th of September 2020, and I told Paul in the call centre to get Simon Wadey to call me by 6 o'clock on the that day, on the 18th of September 2020, and I said it was going to be a problem if he didn't, and I notified of the big claim of 2 billion per annum each year from 1987. To protect other people for insurance purposes and including for our AGM, which was on the 24th of September, on 22nd of September at about 5 o'clock, we made it public in the same way as before. It's on YouTube and on a website and in various places. In advance of our AGM on the 22nd, and the results of the AGM on the 22nd were forged by Equiniti because of the history of contaminating the register, and I was not put down as 4,507,951 shares, as I should have been. I objected to our members being put in prison, and that was written on my voting card, which was already made public. So all this is public. I didn't think that we should be putting members in prison, and that's exactly what we were doing, and getting out forged voting results. I hold 4,507,951 shares, okay? And I have done since the 25th of October 2005. I possess insider information, and I can't deal. And I got a legal letter to that effect from my lawyers, Allen and Overy, in March 2005. So because there's a lot of inside information, primarily in the hands of Lion Trust Asset Management, who are our major institutional shareholder, and they, unfortunately, are the major shareholder when FRP Advisory LLP floated on the AIM market in March 2020. So there's a lot of insider dealing. So we just have to be careful about that.
Right.
So that happened on the 22nd of September 2020. Then the forged results went out, and they did not have me down for 4507951, my true shareholding. And then there was a hearing on the 13th of October 2020, and you will find I've put the cross-examination of James Vincent MacDonald, our company secretary, as the agenda for that hearing. And what we needed in that hearing was Equiniti's certificates of destruction of my proxy poll voting card for August 2016 and my certificate of destruction of my proxy poll voting card for August 2015. So the results of the proxy poll voting for 2017 are forged. I am down as having voted just over 1 million shares, whereas I actually voted 4507951. And because there'd been contamination of the register in December 2016, I didn't get notice, I didn't get my AGM, I didn't get my voting card, and I did not get my dividends. So, and from that point onwards, we had our AGMs in the offices of our auditors, BDO in Baker Street. Equiniti was sacked from BDO, and we haven't been able to have our AGMs there again. So that's why I have arrears of dividend of 382,000. So that explains that. And unfortunately, the people on the outside who were trying to attack us, they were trying to end my mother's life, and she was giving the evidence to Equiniti, and there are recorded calls with her on the 23rd of September 2016, which are public, with Janine Burgess in the fraud team, and you can hear my late mother's voice saying, "What about the notice? What about the notice?" What she was referring to was 17811. She means the fraud prevention notice which Simon Wadey had put on there on the 10th of June 2011. So my mother was raising that on the 23rd of September 2016. What about the notice? What about the notice? And despite her explaining all of that to Janine Burgess, and Janine Burgess came out of all of this at that stage because she had been doing secret calls with a man called Russell Atkins from FRP Advisory LLP out of the fraud department and doing deals with him that she would represent him and his firm to doing this damage to the Tribe Group PLC register. And then it was after that, on the 14th of December 2020, after all our warnings, that 17811 was removed, and the hacker went in and put FRP Advisory LLP at a business address in Brentwood in Essex, which is just a business address. It wasn't the address, the registered address or address for service of documents of this correspondent. And then they closed it again, put 17811, but this time for the benefit of FRP Advisory LLP. And Equiniti, by that stage, was a quoted company, and it should have made a public notice on its own regulated news service saying that it had taken control over Triad Group plc, because it's Equiniti that's actually done those activities. And there wasn't a notification on Equiniti Group plc's. That's how it takes control, and it then leaves a void as far as Triad's concerned, because you had not published the proxy poll voting cards for 2016, and then in 17, Chris Atwood from Client Services went and shredded them after the AGM in 2017. And that is why we needed certificates of destruction to be heard on the 13th of October. Hello, have you found where you are now? Are you at the right place?
Not 100%. I'm outside.
Halls. Thank you.
Okay, cheers. Thank you.
Sorry, poor Waitrose have a horrible time. I beg your pardon.
Oh, no, not to worry.
Okay, so we've nearly finished. No, wait a minute. We've nearly finished.
What I'm going to do...
So please, we've nearly finished. So when you have got, I've given you a pile of dates in September and October. So when you get to that hearing on the 13th of October, we should have had all the certificates of destruction heard so that we can sort out our affairs. But you didn't produce them. So that was your last opportunity to appear in court with these certificates. And then we go on to the beginning of November, and the 6th of November 2020, when it's too late. Wait a minute. When it's too late. Wait a minute. So by the 6th of November 2020. that Miss Masood?
Hi, Emma. Thank you for that is correct. Thank you for holding the line. What I am going to have to do is I am going to have to terminate the call on this occasion without any more communication. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for taking a minute to help us understand how we can improve our services for you. We will now ask you just a few short questions which you can easily answer by using the numbers on your telephone keypad. Let's get started. From the following choices, what was the reason for your call today? Please press 1 for updating or making changes to my account. 2 for a payment query. 3 for online access queries. 4 for any other reason.
4.
How many times have you needed to contact us about your query? Please press 1 for once, 2 for twice, 3 for 3 times, and 4 for anything greater. Were you satisfied when dealing with us? Please press 1 for yes, or 2 for no.
No.
Sorry? Did you find it easy to deal with us? Please press 1 for yes, and 2 for no.
No.
Did the representative you spoke to act with the appropriate level of care? Please press 1 for yes, or 2 for no.
No.
Please tell us verbally any additional reasons for this score. Press 1 to leave a comment. Press the hash key when you are finished, or to skip to the next question.
She put the phone down on me.
How likely are you to recommend us to family or friends? Using your keypad, please rate us on a scale from 1 to 9. 1 being not at all likely, and 9 being extremely likely.
1.
Do you have any additional comments regarding the service you have received? Press 1 to leave a comment. Press the hash key when you are finished, or to skip to the next question.
Non-existent.
Thank you for your feedback today. We really value your opinion and will use your feedback to make improvements to our services. Have a great day.
Jolly good. 11:36, Tuesday, 22 February 2022.